Top fans. They must have did like an update to YouTube. They give your top fans like a crown now or whatever the heck I see. Rob Austin's number 1, and as of right now, Manuel says he's number 2. It says top fans. Well, it's like you get XP for like joining or something. Interesting. Must have been like an update that they did a YouTube there from the good old interwebs. All right, what's up, guys? How we doing today? This Thursday. Beautiful outside today. Cooled off a little bit, so it's kind of nice. Not so roasty toasty up in here. But we have Reaper guns on this unit, so it's a Star Wars Ultimate Pedestal. In the process of doing the quality checking, all that good stuff with it. Going through final check, but Star Wars Ultimate Pedestal with the RGB trim. Just kind of show you guys the build, the battleship style panel, box, Scantron layout, spinner, small flight stick, Reaper guns up front, Death Star neon ring. You got the Darth Vader on this side. All right. Try to give you guys a little bit of sound effects there. Throw you back in the good old stand so you're not jimmying around everywhere, making you seasick. But what we're going to get into a little bit today is, I know there's some people out there that might be getting some of the Reaper guns. So we can just run through a few things where you're going to have to input your PID number and things like that if you possibly get these on your own and you're looking to maybe set them up on our machine, things like that. So we'll kind of delve into that a little bit. But feel free to ask any questions. Probably get into a little bit of maybe a couple games too as well. Can maybe check out some gun games with these Reaper guns. But if there's anything possibly you guys want looked at, maybe jump on and see a little bit of gameplay, things like that, just let us know in the comments and we'll get back to you guys. All right. So like I said, first thing, I'm just going to jump into quick, you guys. Just setting up these Reaper guns quick. So again, just kind of running through some of the quick programming as far as PID numbers, things like that, and where those things should go. And we'll go from there. So first thing, obviously you want your guns plugged in. With the Reaper guns, they come with a special hub. So there's like this special hub that it comes with. And we've just been mounting it underneath and then running it in where the speaker volume goes. Because it has the recoil power built in for your recoil here. And then it does also have the plug-in for foot pedals too, which is kind of nice as well. So, sup, Cat G Pop? Thanks for joining. But that's how we've been doing them. And then also with the Reaper guns too, you guys, sensors do get mounted in a different spot versus your gun for IR. So the Reaper guns do get the sensors in the corners. So each of your 4 corners, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, we'll go through some of the calibration too as well. As of right now, it's not really, we don't have a quick access icon on our desktop here. I do have the program just kind of write a shortcut up on the desktop here, but eventually with the newer drives, maybe we can throw the Reaper guns or retro shooters software inside of here for us, things like that. But first thing, like I said, we'll do is I'll run through the PID number stuff quick. And I'm probably going to kind of end up whipping through this kind of quick, you guys. So I'll do my best to be as detailed as I can with it and try to go as fast as I can. Because I know it can be quite a bit, like I've said before, to kind of go in and do some of this stuff. So first thing, let's just pull up our demule shooter. So top left, it's up here. It's usually like the shooting icon that we have. Reaper guns are, I'd say, comparable to gun for IR. They use the IR sensors, just a little bit of a different style. Gun for IR, you can get in and do a little bit more calibration and settings. As far as like the Reaper guns, it's just a program to calibrate, and that's pretty much it. You can't change like button mapping and things like that. As far as like the gun for IR, you can go in and kind of change more of your button mapping, change more of like the recoil settings and things like that. So gun for IR is, you know, probably top tier. Reaper guns are probably your mid tier, and then aim tracks, those I'd say are like your bottom tier or your low tier. Aim tracks use a light gun bar up here versus the multiple sensors you get with gun for IR and the Reapers. So yeah, there's just, like I said, there's just a little more with the gun for IR as far as getting in and calibrating, and you can adjust, I know, your recoil timing, your button mapping, and things like that. So there's a little bit more that you can kind of get in and delve into with your gun for IR if you're kind of looking to do that stuff. The Reapers, again, I just have a simple software calibration, and pretty much away you go with those guys. So let's, again, demule shooter. Up at the top, we're going to double click in here so you can see it's not set up quite yet, because otherwise it will pop up, you know, our PID numbers and things like that. What's up, loose cannon, Cy Cook? I can flash up the Reaper guns quick, you guys, and kind of show you, but last time I tried to do like an unboxing of them, they cut us off of YouTube for some reason. So yeah, just let me kind of set this up first, and I'll kind of flash the guns quick at you. But you can check out their website too. They have machine guns, I know, too, as well, which I have kind of showcased before too. But yeah.
You've got to flash the guns.
Well, yeah, I just don't want us to get booted, and then I got to restart the whole live stream, you guys, and it's the whole thing, obviously. But so what we're looking for our Reapers here. So it looks like the Reapers have like a 12 button mapping and I think a 5 button, and I think the 5 button is what we're looking for. So you can see I was in the first one and they had the 12, and then this one has the 5, and this is the one that you want because of the mouse clicks and things like that. I think the other one's set up differently. So the VID of a 0483 with a PID of 5750. So the most important thing that you're going to want to remember is that PID number. So 5750 for gun 1 is your PID number. So that's what you're going to want to remember, because we're going to end up copying and pasting that and putting that in other areas. So I'm going to go ahead and save this configuration. If you wanted to always, you can grab the gun too in this program here, and then you can see that, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it'll come up, and like your buttons will come up. So you can test them to make sure they are working in there. And then we'll go and configure gun number 2. So P2 configuration. So I think it's 5751 is gun number 2. So 5751, and then again you're looking for that same 5 numbers, you guys. So yeah, I don't have a microphone, you guys, so I'm just trying to speak as much as I can, or as high as I can. I know I had a microphone, and maybe I'll have to get one back again, because I always hate trying to talk as loud as I can. So hopefully you can hear me the best.
Use this.
I don't have USB-C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I don't have the newest iPhone. So yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'll do the best I can with this. So there's gun number 2, you guys. So the mule shooter stuff is done. So basically it's just a program that uses for some of the games to mimic, you know, your gun as like a mouse and mouse clicks and things like that. So you're able to obviously play some of those games. Probably around September, we're thinking, for the new drive set. So, but here, I'll try to flash these guns. Hopefully we don't get booted. But here's like the Reapers, you guys. Button on the bottom, reload here. This is like a little analog stick, and then buttons on the side.
But not real guns.
Yeah, these are not, again, YouTube, you bots. This is not real guns, so please don't can me. So, and then what's real cool too is you get like a selector here for like, think like a single recoil. There's like a multiple, but I think if you move it forward, does like a single, so you can adjust it. And I think if you put this in the slider in the middle, you don't get any recoil. So you can kind of have a full auto, a single recoil, or no recoil, which is kind of cool. And then the kickback is actually in the gun, and I think that's what I did last time. And they kicked me out of YouTube, so. Hopefully you guys kind of got a little bit of a peek there on them. It's kind of cool how they light up on the sides there, you guys, of the guns. So after we do the mule shooter, we can get into doing a few other things here. So we're gonna open up our manila folder on the bottom here, or File Explorer. And then we're gonna come right into our emulators tab on the left here. So I'll try to move the camera, do the best I can with this, you guys, so bear with me. So emulators, and this could be done, so that all this stuff I'm doing, this could be done for Gun for IR. Aim track, our drives are typically set up for aim track already. So again, if you got like Gun for IR and you potentially got new guns and are putting this on our system, same thing, but obviously PID numbers are gonna be different. And I think for the newest Gun for IR guns, the PID numbers are 8046 and 8047 with those. So, but you're gonna go through the same steps. Everything I'm going into, just the PID number will be different, you guys. So I'm just gonna kind of work down from here on my left. Again, I'll try to do this as fast as I can. So first thing is Dolphin. Dolphin's got a few gun games inside of there, like Gunslinger, and I think there's a couple other ones that we can go and set up to as well. But Dolphin, if we come in Dolphin Gun, and then now if we load Dolphin EXE, this is gonna pop up the Dolphin emulator, and then from here you have controllers, and then we can come to Wiimote configuration 2. And what we're just looking for in here, you guys, see it's already preset up. What we're looking for in here is just to see where our Reaper guns are at. Because they're looking for gun 2, and we need to make sure inside of our settings here that all these HKA files, AHK files, sorry, have this set up as 2. Because otherwise it's not going to recognize gun 2 or 2 players. So hopefully that makes sense, you guys, with everything I'm trying to spit at you. But so yeah, we're just looking for 1, 2. So we know we need a number 2, because sometimes like Gun for IR, this will be 3 and you need 3. So just remember 2 for now. And the other thing too you're gonna want to remember is what they have it labeled here. So the 3A, 3H Retro Shooter 2 is what we want to remember too as well. So hopefully you guys got all that. So first thing what we can do is all these games here. So this section here, you can kind of see that I'm highlighting Dino Strike, Ghost Squad, Gunslinger, and then this little section here. You can pretty much tell by what they're labeled and named, you guys, that they're all games. And then obviously like your Reload, your Remington, and then pretty much all the way kind of to the bottom here. So hopefully you guys can kind of see like all this here. What's up, Bill? A few games in here, a couple here, Dino Strike here, and then a couple of these up here. So basically, I'm not going to go through all these. I'll just start with this top one here. So basically, now if we click and right click and then edit script, you can see it's going to pop up like a script page. Dang it, got stuck on a cord there. And this is where I was saying where you're going to want to remember the number 2. This phone stand is wonky. So if you come and scroll all the way to the right, like I seen here, you see number 2. That's where you're going to want to change that to a number 2. And you can always, this will probably be, I don't know what this will be at. I think it is at a 3 normally for aim track. So what you can always do, you just kind of highlight this and then you hit your player to start, because that mimics number 2 for a keyboard input. So super easy, so you don't even have to bring up a keyboard or do any of that good stuff. File, obviously, save. And that's going to be what you're going to end up doing for all those games inside of this Dolphin folder. So yeah, I mean, you could do all that, but I mean, if you want to be fancy like that and just search for the AHK files, go right ahead, but I wasn't trying to be all fancy, just kind of show you guys quick. But yeah, so you could do that and sort it to make it a little bit easier for you guys. So again, that's going to be for all these games. You're going to have to physically go in each one of these and do 2. So the Dolphin is a little bit more of a setup process. And then, oh yeah, what we're going to do from here then is, you remember the 3A-3H retro shooter or whatever it said, number 2. So now we're going to go into users, config, and then we're looking for Wiimote new INI, double click in here. And then you can see now where we input that on the bottom here. So this is probably going to say aim track, typically is what they are already set up to, I believe. Or gun for IR. No, it's aim track. So basically what you're going to do is, like I said, that 3A-3H space retro shooter. You're basically just going to follow what it said in that Dolphin emulator. And you're going to input that on each one of these 3 or 4 lines here for your, Y and X axis. So you input all that there and you put that 2 in, and then you'll be all set for all these games that are running out of the Dolphin emulator. So all those gun games. So that's probably, I'd say, the most confusing one out of all of them to do, to get set up. But I know it's a little bit of a step process. Yeah, and just like David said, obviously if you type it into the first line, you can just copy that and then paste it into the other 3. Go ahead. So from here, we're going to do MAME. So when we come in MAME, you're going to have your controller file. And that's where all your PID numbers are stored for like your spinner, your trackball, things like that. So double click in here, and then we're just looking for the EHA config, because that's pretty much what everything is running out of, or pulling your PID numbers from. Double click in here, and then you can see that this one is already pre-set up. Yeah, GameCube, yeah, Wii. So then you can kind of see I have this set up here. And then the PID number 5040, that's for your trackball. The 15A2 is your spinner typically. And it all depends on what kind of spinner you're using. 2-player IPAC is 0420. But you can see that our PID numbers there for our retro shooters, 5750, 5751. So this is pretty much how you want it to look like. Obviously, if you put any other quotations or anything inside of there, the MAME games probably won't pull or run either. So potentially if you did mess up and you're trying to play games and you notice they're not running, your file inside of here could potentially have maybe an extra space or something, and MAME doesn't recognize that and your games won't run. So just be careful when you're doing all that, and just a heads up, if you don't input something right, like that'll happen. So after we get that one, you know, after you do this and you get this all set up here, you can pretty much copy this whole line, you guys, and then stick it in the other ones. So now we could go back, and I know there's like, we've got, I think, a few gun games in the latest build version and then the latest experimental build. I'm not really sure, but I know there's a couple gun games I think that are running out of the latest build one. But you can open this one and do the same thing, controller, EHA config, and then you can paste that right over top of all that in there. And then obviously don't forget to save all that stuff, you guys, when you get that all done. And then the same thing for your latest experimental. The same thing, controller file, EHA config, and then again, copy, paste inside of there too as well. Oh, I went a little too far. So we did the latest experimental one. Yep. So yeah, David's got the gunfire, like I was saying for the new gunfire guns, the 8046, 8047. The aim tracks are the 1601 and 1602, you guys. Typically, Golden Tee, you don't really ever have to input anything in there. That's just typically going to be your trackball. So again, if you had a 4-player, it'd be 0420, things like that. But we're not worrying about that. Next one is our MAME IR guns. If we double click in here, same thing, our controller file, EHA config, and then the same thing inside of here, you guys. Copy, paste, save, all that good. And then come back out, scroll down, and then now we can get into our PlayStation light gun stuff, and then I think our supermodel. And then there's a few other games. And then obviously everything for your TechnoParrot you would have to go in and change to as well. And I can kind of show you how to do a gun setup in TechnoParrot. Super easy, you guys, in TechnoParrot. Real nice emulator to work with and set up controllers, things like that. So, but let's get into our PlayStation 2 light gun setup. And then from here, I'm trying to remember, game configs. Endgame is one of the games. So all these are games in here. So you're going to have to go into probably each and every single one of these folders. I haven't found a quicker way to do this, you guys. Obviously here with me doing a lot of setup for us, we've went in and put these numbers in and saved it on a flash drive, so we're not having to do this every single time, and saves us a little bit of time to have to go in and do all this stuff. But so Endgame. And then you're going to have GunCon 1 and GunCon 2. So you're going to have to do each one of these separately for each of those games. If we right-click again, edit. And then you can see like your number pulls up here. So our number pulls up here. And you basically paste it inside of here, you guys. I think I can remember how to get this. I think you do tools, right? The mule shooter, and then config INI. If you go to edit, yeah, there we go. So, did you guys see that? So to get the number basically for those guns to go inside of there, because you need that whole line. If you click on tools like I did, so I'll try to zoom in. Tools, the mule shooter. Supposed to be a new version. Oh, I think it puts it in the same spot. Oh, that's aim tracks. I don't know why that newer version is set up for aim tracks, but so the mule shooter 10.20, the config INI, come to edit, and then now you can see this is gonna pop up our lines for us. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, obviously, like David said, the latest version is just the folders labeled the same. So again, so these are your lines, you guys, that you're looking for. So if we maximize this, here. Sorry, I'm trying to do the best by moving the camera, you guys, and trying to do all this with one hand and trying to set everything up. But so you can see device number 1, device number 2, you guys. So again, copy that whole line for player 1. So, and then now you can come back again to your games there. Double click, click right, click edit. And then again, like I said, copy, paste inside of there. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible, you guys, for any of you guys, people out there that are trying to set this up and do this on your own. Hopefully I'm making it or explaining it as easy as I can for you. And then again, you're going to do that for all those games with inside of that folder. So all these games. And then you're going to have to do player 1 for all these, and then you have to go back to that, where you found your PID number. Then you're going to have to copy the second player line, and then you're going to have to do the same thing. So hopefully that all makes sense for you. Then after we get our PlayStation gun stuff done, we come into our Supermodel R845 IR guns here. Double click on that bad boy. And then there's 3 games inside of here. So you're just going to come again to the AHK files. Click, right click, edit, and then edit script. And then you can see with this one, yeah, right. The joys of 3 different light guns and making sure that all the PID numbers are right. So when you guys get to your machines, you're not having to futz around and play with all this stuff. So, but then you can see how I have this all set up here. This is how you're going to want that. So just like it's showing there for the Reapers. And then obviously, same thing, aim tracks or gun for IR. Same thing. But these are for the Reapers. So there you go. Once you copy, paste, obviously save. And then once you get that all correct in there, before you go to the next one, here, if you just, again, right click, and then if you compile the script that's gonna, for the game file that it's running out of, once you compile it, so when the game runs, all the new script and everything is in that game file there, so it can recognize everything that you just did and your games come up. Hopefully I explained that right. All right. And then obviously you're going to have LA Machine Guns, Rage of the Machines, Ocean Hunter, and then the Lost World Jurassic Park. Those are the 3 with inside of there. So, and then after we do that, that is all the gun stuff for inside of emulators. So I'm pretty sure now we got all our stuff set up in our emulators folder here. So now, if you have all of our good like expansion stuff and all that, there's a couple other spots that we'll go to set up a few other games. And then there's 2 games that we'll jump into here, and then we can play test these Reaper guns out, see them in action, things like that. So next what we're going to get into is our W drive here. So this is one of our expansions. If we come in here and then come up top, let's set this game up, our expansion PC games, double click on this. And then what we're looking for is House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, which now I think on TechnoParrot, this game is for free. But we have it here too as well. You double click this, self-launch. You hit the app up top. The HOD 0, double click, Windows non-editor. Damon. And then now we're finally to where we can get to the JConfig. So there's quite a bit of stuff we got to jump through to just get to this game to set it up to configuration, but that's all right. Double click here. And then now this is going to pop up this program here. So you can kind of see here, pops up this program. So now from here, you can see I got my guns plugged in. There they are. But we're going to come into settings. And then now again, you're going to look for the 5750. Right click, mouse 1, obviously, because that's gun number 1. And then now we're looking for the 5751. So right here. Click on it, right click, mouse 2, and hit OK. And then all that should be saved now. We can back out of here and then hit OK down here to save it. Hit OK, cancel, that one's done. So after you kind of jump through some of those folders, it gets you to a point where you get all that set up. Pretty easy to set that one up once you get inside of there. But let's just jump all the way back to the beginning. And now we can get into our expansion emulators. Double click in here. And this is just where the newer TechnoParrot games description and stuff is at. So TechnoParrot, we scroll down. And then we have TechnoParrot right here. TechnoParrot UI.exe. Double click on that bad boy. And then now it's going to pull up TechnoParrot for all our expansion stuff. So now you can see this is where we can get in and set up stuff for our guns. I should just probably move this instead of moving the camera every time, but whatever. All right. So now you can see this is where you can kind of get into your guns, which is super nice now with this updated TechnoParrot. There never used to, I think, really be a genre up here. But now you can click on this and you can just put in shooter. And this should pull up majority of your shooting games. I think there was a couple that we looked through here that didn't include. I can't remember the ones. I think it was like 2 of them off the top of my head, I think. But now you can see we can kind of go from here and work our way down. After dark, we'll just start with that one. Controller setup. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So this is one. So there's probably a couple in here too as well that aren't actual like gun games where you use your gun. I think some of them might be like an Xbox controller. If we come to controller setup, see now this is where you can kind of get in and you can do all your inputs from here. So it makes it super easy, you guys, once you kind of get in here. Trying to just zoom out a bit. Yeah, I have to fix this stand. But now you can see coin, wheel left, right. So for this one, obviously, in particular, I mean, you can just do your left mouse click and hit player 1 coin, and then you can see it inputs it there for us. So same thing, wheel left and right. For this in particular game, there's a wheel. You know, potentially like these retro shooters, You could put it on the joystick if you wanted to too. So, because I know there's like a little analog joystick on here. So if I click on this, and then say if I just maybe do left, you can see it comes up left up on there. So it's kind of nice with this analog stick on here. And then if you want to do wheel right, same thing, right. And then now that's programmed to the gun. So now when the ship wheel, I think, comes up, or your boat wheel, obviously you can hit left or right on that analog stick, which makes it super nice. Because, you know, like the aim tracks and I think like the base model Gunfire R don't have like a joystick or an input on there. So typically you just program it to the control panel. But so you can see how easy that was to do that. And then obviously you're going to have to select your light gun. So this is going to bring you a drop down from here. And then obviously, again, make sure your guns are plugged in. But you can see your Retro Shooter 1 and then Retro Shooter 2. But this is player 1 light gun. So Retro Shooter 1. And then your trigger, again, simply left click, hit your trigger on your gun, and away you go. Sometimes if it doesn't always pull up, because it should be left button for the trigger. So if it doesn't pull up, sometimes you might have to take like the cap off of these things. There's a cap, and you might just have to aim and shoot at the screen. But super simple, easy. So again, too, if you had extra buttons on there, you know, you could program the extra buttons to your gun for the coin and the start too if you wanted. I know with these retro shooters or these Reaper guns in MAME, they have the buttons on the front there. They're the start and the coin. So, but you can get in here and do all the programming inside of here. And then obviously all these games too that you come down the list are all going to need to be set up. So it's a little bit of a step process. Unfortunately, with TechnoParrot, there's no like easy way of saving the file and bringing it over. I've tried to do that multiple times. I don't know, maybe with a new update now. But every time I tried to bring in a file and do it, none of the inputs would ever save or work once you actually tried to load the game and play it. So unfortunately, like with TechnoParrot, we got to go through each one of these every time and set it up. So that takes a little bit of work to do all this. So you're going to have all these inside of here, and that's the expansion stuff. And then if we come down to the taskbar here, you can see there's a TechnoParrot down here. If you just click on him, he's going to bring up the other version. And then there's some gun games in here too. I think there's like Alias Extermination is one. You can see with the older version there wasn't like a genre up here. Dream Raiders is another one. Far Cry Paradise Lost, which I don't think the Reaper guns work on that one for some reason. Your Ghost Squad. House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn. Let's Go Island, like your Let's Go Islands. Luigi's Mansion, Lost Land Adventure. Operation Ghost. I'm just trying to give you guys a label of some of these games because, like I said, you can't really modify the list in this one. Rambo, Sega Golden Gun, Silent Hill the Arcade, Star Trek Voyager, you know, obviously your House of the Deads, Time Crisis, Too Spicy, Transformers, and I think that's it inside of there. And that's all the games inside of there. And then there's, like I said, there's 2 games that we actually have to load the game up and go into those and set those up, which we'll get into a second. But what we can do is last thing here, as of for right now, we'll probably just end up putting the software right on the desktop. I think I got to give David my thumb drive here, and then we can probably put this in like the start bar, things like that. But for right now, we're just going to end up putting a folder here. So this is going to be the calibration side of things. So before we get to those two games, we'll show you the calibration quick because I don't want to have to jump back to this, and then we can get in kind of playing some games and have a little bit of fun here at the end. So let's double click on the Retro Gun folder. Super easy, Retro Gun EXE. Double click on that bad boy. And then it's just going to run the calibration process for you. It's going to tell you, where to place your sensors. So kind of just follow what it says. Trigger to skip. So obviously we could hit the trigger, and then now it's kind of showing you, a 16:9 or 4.3. Obviously most of the stuff these days is the 16.9. So it's kind of, it shows you to hit your first button. So first button, and then you can see it kind of counts down with a timer, gives you like the 4 crosshairs or a couple crosshairs that you just aim and shoot at. And then it's going to save it for you, and away you go. You're ready to rock, you guys. And then obviously same thing. You'll grab the player 2 gun and hit the same button and do the same process with player 2 gun. But that's pretty much it, you guys, for the settings as far as in the Reaper guns. And then obviously you can just hit your exit button, or your shift player 2 is your exit, or if you have a dedicated exit, you can hit that. And that'll back you out of everything. So now we went through the whole step process, got all that good stuff set up. Now we're pretty much ready to rock besides like 2 games, and we'll delve into that now. All right. So let's just rock big box here. We can double click on our big box icon up at the top left. Let's run this bad boy and get her going. So from here we're just gonna go into like our IR guns folder. So let's just scroll down. So we got like our IR light gun games. Let's just jump right into this folder. And you're gonna need a keyboard hooked up for this. So I always recommend or tell customers, if they're kind of wondering what kind of a keyboard to get, if you don't want like a full-blown big keyboard, is they sell these like little mini keyboards. Let me open up the back, little dongle in there. And then if you always have like an extra USB spot, or there's usually like a hub under your control deck that you can plug this in and just leave it plugged in. But we can plug that in and we'll be set to go. But so right off the bat here, we'll go in the House of the Dead remake. Obviously a remake on your classic House of the Dead. Super fun game, up-res graphics, looks real nice and pretty, fun to play. So we're gonna jump right into this one. We'll jump into this one. We'll set this one up. We'll do a little bit of gameplay on it. 5 or so minutes. What's up? Cluro Play. Hopefully I didn't botch your name. From Chile. Awesome, dude. Thanks for joining. So usually... Okay. I was going to say, sometimes I know with this game you'll have to hit like your mouse click to bring up the menu sometimes. So if you just hit like your left mouse click, it'll usually bring up the menu for you. And then right at this menu from here, I think this one is if you hit F1. Yeah, F1. You can kind of see how it brought like a little menu to the right here. So then you can see where it says assign player 1 light gun. So what you can do is if you click on, you know, assign player 1 light gun, now it's saying you can kind of see it right here. Pull the trigger using your player 1 gun. And then it'll put that, you know, the VIN PID number right there. Same thing for gun number 2. Again, you click on assign to light gun, hit the trigger, and you're ready to rock. Gotta come at an angle here. And now we're ready to rock and play this game. So now if you just hit F1 again, you'll get that to disappear for you. But let's pop up our gun. I'll just go to continue. Show you a little bit of gameplay of this bad boy. Shoot the trigger. Again, if there's any newcomers on here, check us out on our YouTube channel, extremehomearcades.com. Check out our website, kind of give you an idea of machines. We can customize pretty much anything to your liking. Again, feel free to ask any questions. Oh no! I didn't reload and damn me died. I gotta see if I can get you kind of. I bit my head off. Yeah, shoot his legs, shoot his legs. No. Oh. Saved him. Monkeys! Ah! Get out of here, you monkey! Uh-oh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright. There you go. There's some of that House of the Dead remake, you guys. So let's exit out of here, and then we'll go do one other game called Blue Estate. Alright, so what are you guys talking about here? Just reading the comments. Oh, you guys are just kind of talking about the update stuff. There you go. So yeah, ask away. We're gonna do one more game, you guys. So again, it's Blue Estate. So Blue Estate. Yeah, the guns will automatically work for you, obviously, if you have all the right PID numbers. Those two are packing away over there. So this one is, I think you shoot up like a strip joint, get your girlfriend. Yeah, obviously if you plug your guns, you gotta have your guns plugged in. And I always recommend customers when they're done playing like a light gun game to unplug your guns. Just because they will interfere potentially with other emulators and show up as like a controller. As you could see, I think last week's live stream that was the case with that one game. So again, I always just say if you're done playing light gun games, just unplug them. Yeah. Yeah, so just what David's saying, I'm just kind of going through the process of doing all this for those that are potentially, you know, have one of our machines and upgrade, you know, to Gunfire or the Reapers, and they are looking to do it on their own and want to set it up all on their own. This is just kind of gives you a general idea how to get in all this stuff and do it. So same thing for this one, but this one you're going to hit F5. And then same kind of little green window up there. And with this one, it says hit F6 for your gun for player 1. So if we hit F6, you can see now it says pull the trigger. And you pull the trigger, and then now it says light gun assigned up there. So same thing for player number 2. Player number 2 is F7. So again, you'll hit F7 on your keyboard, hit the trigger on gun number 2, and then now you got both guns set up. And then now if we can just hit F5, that'll get rid of our little window menu up there for us. And then now we're ready to rock, you guys. So let's go into like story. We're just gonna do solo. But yeah, you can play 2 players on this. So again, we'll do like another five or so minutes of the gameplay here, and that'll probably be a week this week, you guys. Just want to thank again everybody out there watching us, joining us every week, liking, subbing, and all that good stuff.
Don Luciano prized an eye for business above his son Tony's view of the world to the sights of his opinion. He'd given him the nightclub to run to get him back on the high road, but Kim Bong Sik had kidnapped my client Cherry Pops, the only human Tony Luciano had ever warmed up to, and Tony couldn't even spell negotiation.
So you can just swipe your gun to the right or the left and it'll obviously skip for you. There's the little cat. Did you guys see the little cat? There's like little stuff in here that you can shoot to, which is kind of cool. So yeah, if you just swipe your gun up or to the right, it'll do all that stuff for you. Super cool. This game's a nice, fun one to play. Headshot.
It's like they built moats into the walls.
Dragon's main attraction was their famous mermaid show, but their star girl, Princess Neptuna, had run off with what she hoped was a prince. Anyway, the club was open only to its armed employees while they auditioned a new girl, and the auditions were tanking.
Yeah, this game's a little spicy, but that's all right. So you tilt your gun down and you'll hide behind the pillar you can see too. But all right, guys. All right, guys, there you go. There's some of the blue estate for you. Oh, where's the keyboard? So obviously, this is like an old school kind of arcade with all the modern stuff too. So basically, your keyboard inputs are to an iPack, which everything's pretty much controlled off your control panel. Obviously, for your newer modern games that require the dual analog for you to move your camera, things like that, we do have the newer Xbox controllers that you'll use for that. Obviously, all your old classics, your side scrollers and newer fighters too as well. Anything that doesn't, again, require like a camera movement, things like that, we're able to run a program on here and you can play the newer fighting games like your Tekken 8s, your Mortal Kombats, all that good stuff right off the control deck too. Like I feel like it's intended to be. And then obviously you can get your spinners, Tron sticks, kind of get into all that fancy stuff. This one's got the battleship style control panel and box. So you get like your pinball buttons on the side, your launch button. You can plug in like a wireless keyboard. Some people will plug in a full-blown keyboard too in this as well. But yeah, this in particular machine, we have RGB buttons on it. So I'll just kind of walk around it for the last couple minutes here. So yeah, we have RGB buttons on here and we just have them lit up standard colors as of right now. If we let this sit for a minute, it will go into like an attract mode where this will kind of flicker, do all kinds of stuff. Real cool too as far as like your modern fighters and our expansion stuff. I have the colors set up like Xbox controller colors. So you'll be able to kind of see, you know, the green, red, blue, yellow. So when you go into those games, gives you a generalized idea as to what buttons to hit, things like that. Obviously we got like I said, our spinner. This could be a push-pull spinner. You could have, I know one time we had a panel with 4 spinners. So you can kind of really get into that. This is our smaller flight stick or Tron stick. So, you know, like Tron, Discotron, or your fighting or your flight games, things like that, you can set this up. I know in some of those TechnoParrot games, I think you can set that up, obviously, like Afterburner, things like that. So you can rock that. I do have the full-size one, too, as well. If you're looking for the Top Fire 2, we've done those as well. So, again, it's like customization's kind of endless, you guys. It's all kind of looking to what you're wanting to do, play. If you want that nostalgic feel with some of it, you can get into that stuff and do all that. So, neon ring with the Death Star in there. Got your Reapers up front. Got your volume knob underneath here, you guys. So you can crank that up if you want. Bass control on the left. On-off switch. You can plug headphones in here. This is just the hub for your Reaper guns or your, machine guns too as well. What you can get from them. This machine, we do have the RGB molding around the control deck, around the machine as well. 28-inch active marquee in the bottom here. And then with this in particular unit, the Ultimate Pedestal, you guys will mount your own TVs to this. So this is just a testing TV that I'm using. Don't mind all this garbage, you guys, in the back. This is just all plugged in temporary for now. Obviously, it would look a lot prettier if you guys, plugged in your TV, hide all the wires real nice. But this is just a quick whip-up job to get it up on the machine. But I was just kind of showing you the mounts. Like, you'll get all the mounts, you'll get the hardware, these that you mount to your TV, all the screws that come with it, and all that good stuff that you'll have to mount on here. So all the mounting stuff will come with it. You just have to put on your own TV and then your own sensors for whatever kind of guns you guys get with the Ultimate Pedestal. Show you this thing. So this is what I've been working on, the lightsaber cade. Maybe I'll plug these in quick just to show you guys. But this is the first one with a 55-inch TV in it. So this is what I'm currently working on. We got the Death Star too with the lighting in the middle. That lights up and shoots. See if I can't get that lit up for you too as well, maybe quick, just to show you guys in the end of the live stream here. We got the giant, I think it's like 2.5 times bigger than a normal like neon ring like that. This is just ginormous, you guys. I mean, compared to like my hand, like look how big that thing is. So, and then he lights up his lightsaber will light up there. This all lights up inside of here. This all lights up inside of here. This, you guys, this machine takes so much work. All this gets etched from underneath. So all this gets etched from underneath, and then this is all painted. So all the little stuff in here, I had to paint all this, I had to do the white paint it black, and then the etching gets done, and then I got to wire up the whole lighting. I mean, just to show you. And I put like a nice bezel to cover the lighting. But basically, again, like had to tie all the lights in together, you guys. Ton of work to do. I always enjoy them though, but they just take a little bit longer to obviously do all this fancy stuff with it. Same thing with all these like poly pieces. These are all etched, painted. Same thing with the lightsaber, etched and painted. This is just a fog piece of poly too, and then our lighting behind there. But yeah, 55-inch TV on this bad boy. We got the Wii bar up there. It's getting gun for IR, so I'll have to put the sensors behind there yet. 43-inch active marquee up top there, and then he went with blue T-molding and red T-molding. And then again, the same thing with those like being etched and the lightsabers. So I'll give you guys a little preview if you want to stick with me here for a minute. I'll give you guys a glimpse. So I'll plug everything in. Like I said, I'm just wiring it all in the back right now, so it's just kind of probably looks like a mess back there as of right now. So I'll just quickly plug some of this stuff in so you guys can see it. Yep, give me 1 second, you guys. I gotta get my extension cord stretched over there just because, again, like I said, I have some of it wire managed. Oh, this should be the blue side. This should be the red side. Be the red side. So yeah, there's just like a ton of lighting, you guys, that goes into this, all this work. Triple lights. So I'll light up all this first, and then I'll show you guys the Death Star because I'm out of input plugs on my little extension cable I have up over here that's coming out of the ceiling. Yes, we did. So yeah, here, I'll show you guys. So yeah, I could switch this to red, but yeah, obviously, like, you could have this red. You can change this whatever colors you want. If you want a rainbow, things like that. I mean, it's just on green right now. I'm not gonna grab the remote and change it, you guys, but you can see how the lightsaber, how it lights up. There. Come and show you the red. So same thing with these. These are RGB, so you could change these to whatever colors you want to do. I just found a cool setting that kind of looked like it's kind of like glowing and lighting up, which I thought was kind of cool. If you can kind of see that, you guys. There you go. I'll show you the Death Star in a minute. And then here's the blue side. So same thing like I had on the red, where it kind of like looks like it's beaming up and down. It's pretty sweet, you guys. Pretty sweet. And then now I'll light up the Death Star for you guys quick. So just give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. I just gotta plug it in, plug it in, plug it in. So yeah, just stick with me, be patient. I'll get her plugged in to show you guys quick. There you guys go. I lit her up green. Obviously, same thing with the Death Star too. You could change it whatever color you wanted and stuff too. But here you guys go. See, all these are lights. You know, these are all a light strip, and then I have one single one running all the way through. But lots of soldering and tying all that together. So then it looks like obviously it's shooting out a beam. Here, maybe let me turn the light off quick. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there, that's a little bit better. You guys can kind of see it more, but see how it like shoots out. Goes all the way to the tippy toppy end. And then again, this is all gets etched, you guys. I think I went through like 3 pieces of poly to dial it all in. It's tricky to do this stuff, you guys, with the etching and try not to go through the poly and etch it all out nice and right. It's all etched in there. But there you go. Oh, it's just because I I'd have to lock the remotes and all that stuff for each one. So that's why the colors changed on the side there. But there you guys have it. So again, thanks guys. Thanks guys for joining this week while my camera falls. But thanks guys for joining this week. Tune in next week. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff down below. And have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Later.